Now, something a bit different. I want to talk about masculine and feminine, the yang and the yin. Particularly now, what we've been through, I say even the last decade has been a real big push for progressiveness and so forth, based on feelings and so forth. And to, I guess, Western way of interpreting that, the concept of that is more like a female archetype. And female, in terms of being the feminine, is being very much feminine energy. And that is really yin. If you're familiar with the yin and yang symbol, you have one side being black and the other side being white, and each has a germ of the other. And it's just a balance, not exactly opposite, but a balance. And you need to achieve a balance, and you need both. You can't have one going too much yang or too much yin. Then there are issues. And what we've had is a very, very yin energy, with all this very much progressiveness and a push for the feminine to be up, women actually to be up, more prominent, and men to downplay their masculinity, and the constant being told that it's toxic masculinity is a problem and so forth. And that's why they are suppressing, discouraging men from being men, really, discouraging the masculine and pushing for men to be more effeminate. So when they talk about yin energy, there's also, besides women, there's also effeminate men. Pretty much effeminate men has become more prominent, or at least, it's either effeminate men that were already there but too afraid to show that they are feminine in case of being mocked, or more men are becoming more effeminate because they think that's what's more acceptable rather than being their true selves. But now it seems like we've kind of like had a pullback with this recent election in the US. And it's expected that there'll be less of the progressiveness, or even a pullback, or going the other way, so to speak, a pushback, as you were, to flip and become, have the more masculine energy. And in a way, it is a good sign that the yin part, because if we've had too much yin, I'll have to say. And so because of the too much yin, there have been issues. All right. Just imagine, I think everyone would be familiar with, if you've got a workplace with all men, there are problems. Okay? The energetics around there's a problem. It creates a problem because of just one type of energy. Or you go to other workplaces where it's entirely women, then you get other problems. However, once you bring them together, have a mix, even a mix of men and women, it seems like everyone just behaves themselves then, automatically, without having to be told. Because of the way the energetics work, the problems dissipate. Men are not as it tones down all that masculine rhetoric, and for the females, it doesn't become too feminine. And so you achieve a balance. And because when there's a balance, you don't get issues. Just like, remember back to the yin and yang symbol, you got to have both. That is the thing. What happens when you only have one? Issues happen. And you can see it, in certain parts of the world where the feminine has really been suppressed. Well, those societies don't really function, or don't function very well, because they have issues. There's no softness in those societies. Everything is very harsh. And there seems to be a lack of beauty, because women, besides being the caring and the feminine energy, I won't say women, I just say the yin energy, it's also, taking care of how there's beauty around it. Okay? And that's what's lacking in those societies. Whereas in the West, quite recently, you've had where they've become really yin. They've now imported lots of issues into caring or so forth, and that we accept everyone, and because they've accepted everyone and accepted a whole load of people, they've had all these issues with crime, with crime rates going up, and besides that, people being harassed. It's no longer even safe for women, and especially children are targeted as well. And authorities are too scared to do anything in case they've been labelled racist. And so people turn the other way. It's like, what? You're sacrificing your women and children just so you can avoid being labelled as racist. What happens to that? That's when masculinity, the yang energy is needed. Because yang energy, what does masculinity do? It provides security, safety, because it's men that go to war. Okay, you can say what you like about women are just as capable of holding a gun, but it's different. Because imagine, would you have an army full of women go up against an army full of men? Okay, granted, you can say that both women can hold a gun, and so do just the same as the men do, but it's different. Men, because of the testosterone level, okay, there you can be a killing machine. Women do not have that same level of testosterone, and for a good reason, because women's functions and roles in society is different. It's not the same or less important, but it's just as important. Different roles, different needed. Because look, just think it's not always a gun battle. Sometimes it's hand-to-hand combat. And are you going to have a woman doing hand-to-hand combat against a man? No matter how well-trained a woman is, okay, she can probably beat an untrained man. However, not against another trained man. That's the reason why in contact sports, say the Olympics, you have separate divisions. You have women's boxing and men's boxing for a different reason. A female boxer can probably beat up a guy on the street, but not against another male boxer. No matter, she could be the top female boxer up against the bottom male boxer, and she would still lose, most probably lose. And, there are issues of that during the Olympics in the women's boxing. But I think you know what I mean. I don't have to go into it. Now, so women are not the same as men, and the feminine is not lesser importance than the masculine. You need both. Okay, so we've gone too far yin, and so now it seems like the flip and the pushback is gone. The more masculine is coming back now, and it is a good thing, and it is needed because we do need security. Okay, to the point, and it needs, because it's too far yin, it needs to come back to the center. So we've got the yang needs to come back and come back to the halfway mark. It's nowhere near the halfway mark at the moment. So we need the even split. We need that balance for society to function properly, for there to be sufficient security, sufficient beauty, and there is a compassion. But that compassion is also checked and balanced with security needs of the population. And so women can be safe as well and walk down the street and not have to be harassed. Okay? That is why in most societies there hasn't been female rulers. I mean, it was actually a matriarchal society in lots of ancient civilizations until hostilities have broken out. And then it did not work anymore, and then society shifted to the patriarchal society. But then again, some civilizations shifted too much, and some societies have stayed overly masculine up until now, and there are problems with that.